Transmigration. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. Tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyati. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. Such a change does not disturb the minds of those who know the truth. In this picture we are seeing Arjuna fighting in the battle while being driven by Krishna, his chariot driver. And around him we see soldiers busy perishing in battle. So the principle here is that even though bodies inevitably have to be slain by whatever means it may be, through war or just through the course of time, when it is time for this body to be left behind and continue into the next phase, one understands that the soul never dies. And one can observe how the body goes through so many changes in this life, from being born as a little child, a little baby, barely fitting in your two hands, growing up to a little toddler, to an adolescent, to an adult, and then as that body starts shrinking a little bit, the features change even more, and eventually the body returns to dust. And throughout all these changes, there's always one thing that remains constant, and that is the individual inside that body, the spirit soul, the very essence of that consciousness. And even though all these changes are happening, that soul remains itself. It's even said that after every 7 years, every single cell in your body is replaced, but yet we remain the same person. I'm still the same person I was when I was a little boy. I'm still the same person I was a year ago, and I will always continue to be the same person. The way I relate to reality might change, but me, the soul, always remains the same. So similarly, as all these changes are happening, death is simply another change, a change a little bit more drastic. And as these changes happen throughout these different phases of our life, similarly, when we pass through the doors of death, we just step out of this garment that we've been wearing for so many years in this lifetime, and we accept a new garment, like taking off an old and shredded coat and putting on a new one. So a person who is seeing with transcendental vision has absolutely no fear of death, which is the root cause of all other fears, really, and understands that I do not die. I am now in this journey, in this body, in this life, and similarly, when death comes, I will just continue into my journey, wherever that may lead me. The word dhira here means sober. Although in the translation they do not show it like that, I prefer the translation saying, a sober person does not become disturbed by such a change, the change of death. Because a sober person can understand, I am an eternal spiritual being, existing beyond time and space, existing before this body, and will be continuing to exist after this body. And from such a paradigm, one can truly live without anxiety. The spiritual world is called Vaikunta. Vaikunta means free from anxiety. So one can actually attain Vaikunta while being in this body on this earth. It's not something that one has to wait for at death and then be transported to the spiritual world. The spiritual world is available right now simply by adjusting our consciousness. By understanding I'm an eternal spiritual being, I will never die. And in this state of mind, one is completely liberated, actually. And one can relate to the world in a very pure and perfect way. Perfect in the sense of seeing everything for what it is. All beautiful emanations of the Supreme, all beautiful manifestations of the various energies of Source, and temporary in nature also. So we should all aspire to become adhira, to become sober, and to be able to see the transient nature of this world and relate to it with that understanding. So then when things come, we can appreciate it for what it is, we can harness the energy, we can learn from it, we can grow, and when it moves on, with complete detachment and acceptance and non-resistance, we can allow it to move on. And then we can allow ourselves to move on also into progression of our own consciousness.